What is going on, everybody? Good morning to you all. It is Monday morning, May 3rd, 2021. I hope you guys are having a great morning, and I know you're going to have an even better day. So today, I got kind of the same thing going on. I know this week we've had a theme of talking about this whole fight between Epic Games and seems like the rest of the world. So Epic Games, if you didn't know the whole situation behind Epic Games and Apple, today we're going to cover it because Apple is making its first appearance in court today. That's right, Tim Cook will be in the courtroom today, Monday, May 3rd, 2021, to fight against this Epic Games lawsuit. So put your seatbelts on your gaming chairs, everybody. This is going to be a wild ride. Appreciate you guys joining me along for it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Goes a long way to help out the channel. And yeah, let's jump right into this. Alright, so first things first, credit to the journalist. This is James Clayton over at the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. A legit news site here today. I'm not saying that the other ones aren't legit, but you know, just a crazy that this is getting all the mainstream attention. So the title of the article is Apple to Face Epic Games in Court. Let's jump into it. Okay. After months of hype and warring words, Epic Games is about to get its day in court with Apple. The trial begins on Monday and is one of the most important in Apple's history. Apple boss Tim Cook will be giving evidence, the first time he's given testimony at a trial. So the first time Tim Cook has ever been a part of a trial is today. He will be in court. That's pretty crazy. He's been the CEO of Apple for a while now. I forget what year Steve Jobs passed away, but Tim Cook will be there. And yeah, it's pretty wild. Oh, that's good coffee. Moving on. At stake is the future of the App Store and the amount it charges developers, a wildly lucrative money spinner for the company. In August last year, Epic Games laid a trap for Apple. Now, this is where it gets a little juicy because I didn't know that this is how it all went down. I didn't know how this is all went down. Let's read this. Its hit game Fortnite implemented its own in-app payment, bypassing Apple's 30% charge. Okay, Apple promptly kicked Epic Games off of the App Store, but Epic Games was waiting just for that. It slapped Apple with a 65-page lawsuit and had even prepared a high-production video, a spoof of Apple's iconic 1984 advert for the Apple Mac. Now let's watch this video together. But before we do that, that's wild. That it seems like Epic Games basically set this whole thing up. They knew what they were doing. Very smart on their end. I don't know if that's going to help them in court very much if a judge sees that they did all of this on purpose, but they had to have a reason to go to court, and they made it. So good for Epic Games. They got what they wanted. So yeah, let's watch this little advertisement. Let me see real quick, make sure it's going to show up good. Yeah, and make sure my desktop audio is on so we can record and watch it together. I'm kind of interested. I haven't seen this yet.
We celebrate the anniversary of the platform unification directives. For years they have given us their songs, their labor,
Oh my gosh.
their dreams. In exchange,
Wow.
we have taken our tribute, our profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Oh, damn. That is sad. Wow. Never seen that before. Absolutely incredible. I'll link that video down in the description below for credit so you guys can go check it out yourself. But man, that's a broadside from Epic Games. We haven't seen corporate warfare like this in a while, everybody. This is really fun. Alright, so moving on from that, Epic Games has for years claimed the charges imposed on it by Apple are extortionate. That's a strong word. Their argument is simple, that Apple's control over the App Store is anti-competitive. So you see the theme that they're trying to go with here. They're trying to say Apple is violating antitrust laws and creating a monopoly. over app stores. So let's keep going. It believes that developers should be able to make apps for smartphones without having to pay sums to Apple and to Google Play for Google Play purchases. So Google Play is also kind of wrapped up in this inadvertently. I don't think that's their main target. Obviously, their main target is the Apple Store, but Google Play is kind of wrapped up in this, because if you think of it, if Apple loses this lawsuit, then there is plenty of grounds for somebody to file the same lawsuit against Google Play. So I'm sure the folks over at Google are watching this very, very closely. Spotify, Match, and Tile are just a few of the many companies that have also claimed Apple's charges are unfair. So Epic Games ain't going alone. There's some more companies out there trying to get their cut. Apple is estimated to have made hundreds of millions of dollars from Fortnite alone in charges. Epic Games' big argument is if they don't want to pay, then where else do they go to sell their products? Which is a very valid point if you think of it. If you have a game or an app that you want to sell, there's really no other option other than the Apple App Store or Google Play. Other than that, you're dead in the water. You're not getting anywhere. So the fight to claim that it's a monopoly, it's a winning fight. I think you might see Epic Games pull out here. It'd be very, very interesting to see the defense Apple comes up with. So moving on, Apple's App Store and Google's Google Play are the dominant global app stores outside of China. Epic Games has tried to sell Fortnite away from these two stores. It tried to sideload the app on Android phones and to try and avoid Google's own 30% charge. However, not enough people downloaded it away from Google Play. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, most people don't know where to go to get apps that aren't on Google Play. Most people think that apps won't even work on an Android phone unless you get it from Google Play. And I'm sure there's a lot of Apple consumers that think the same way about the Apple Store. We always hear don't download anything that's not, verified on these stores. So it's hard to get your apps out there unless you're part of it. Moving on, Epic Games' reluctant conclusion: if you want to make games for smartphones, you have to be either the App Store or Google Play. Very true. The Apple tax. But unwilling to lie down and accept the charges, what it calls the Apple tax, Epic Games decided to sue Apple instead. Worryingly for Apple, many of its App Store critics come from across the political divide. In a Senate hearing 2 weeks ago, Apple's Chief Compliance Officer Kyle Andier was grilled by lawmakers. Politicians of all stripes, usually so divided on policy, were united in their attacks on Apple, which just makes my heart warm and fuzzy inside, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats Amy Klobuchar and Richard Blumenthal and Republicans Mike Lee and Josh Hawley all took up similar lines of questioning. Senator Klobuchar said that the Apple's App Store was a literal monopoly. Now, if you guys don't know the Senate very well, let me give you a little inside info. Mike Lee and Josh Hawley, those are two of the most divisive hardline conservative Republicans. I wouldn't call Amy Klobuchar and Richard Blumenthal a crazy liberal, left-wing folks, but either way, just to see some of the most strict people in that Senate in terms of their ideology basically coming together and shitting on Apple, it's a beautiful thing. Makes my heart warm, everybody. Makes my heart warm. And all to defend a video game series. Usually these politicians are out there saying violent video games make kids violent and trying to ban them and stuff. So this is great to see some politicians, even if it is Fortnite, which I have my problems with Fortnite. I think it's a terrible community and a terrible game, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm glad to see a little bit of a shift in that. So moving on, and on Friday, the European Union announced that it was charging Apple for its behavior on the App Store. This is another thing I didn't know about. This is crazy. Epic Games has timed the lawsuit perfectly. The key question the judge will have to answer is whether Apple's App Store is an essential facility, a sort of public utility that no company should control. Matt Stoller, an anti-monopoly campaigner, believes so. Everybody knows that Apple is in charge of what should be public rights of way. It would be easiest if the judge rules in favor of Epic Games. That would fix it, he says. Apple can afford good lawyers, though. So what's Apple's defense? Firstly, Apple says it invented the App Store, and as a private company, it can charge what it wants. It also says the 30% charge to developers is the industry standard for gaming and competes not just with Google Play, but with Microsoft, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. So, we touched on this in previous episodes about the 30% charge. Xbox is moving to a 12% charge. I think we talked about how Steam is continuing with the 30% charge. I'm not sure about the Microsoft Store. Not sure about PlayStation or Nintendo. But it is kind of the industry standard, 30%, I guess you could say. Is that right? Do I think it's right? No. That's pretty steep. But yeah, this is going to be interesting because thinking of the App Store as a public utility, that's a very interesting way of thinking. Many people can't live anymore without these phones. We have our lives in these things, and we rely on these app stores to give us the tools we need to operate these phones. Not just games. We're talking about GPS. We're talking about notebook stuff. There's a ton of things on the App Store that, I mean, in today's day and age, we could deem essential. Online banking, all that stuff. And it's not just games and fun apps to play with, A lot of us have a lot of our lives in these phones. And so to look at these app stores as essential public utilities is a very interesting way of thinking. But then on the other hand, that's all Apple. The founders of Apple, Steve Jobs, that's all their work. Their work went into that. And to tell them that their system needs to go public and, has to be broken up and they can't make money off of it, you don't like that, because that's something that they built and they provided for the world. They're the ones that changed the world, not the government, not the population. It was them. But it's a fine line to go across. So it'll be interesting to see how Apple defends it. It'll be interesting to see how Epic Games goes against it. I'm just waiting on the edge of my seat. All right, everybody, we'll bust out these last two sections here to get done with the article. Hand-wavy. Influential tech blogger John Gruber says Apple has a point. Quote, in terms of actual split, 70-30 is pretty standard across the board. One of the things that really stands out about Epic Games' argument is that they have no complaint whatsoever. It's all very hand-wavy, very much a PR argument, not a legal one. Apple also says that its payment system is fair to small developers. It says 83% of apps and 76% of games on the Apple Store are free. Developers pay no commission. And they say that although their top rate charge is 30%, most developers pay no more than 15% in charges. Apple argues it also oversees an App Store vetting process, making sure the Apple ecosystem isn't compromised by dodgy apps that cost money. However, it's thought the amount that Apple spends on this process is a tiny fraction of the amount it receives from developers. Critics like Matt Stoller also question how effective Apple's vetting procedures are. Quote, there are all sorts of apps that can have scams that Apple doesn't catch. So their argument about safety and security are sort of nonsense, he says, which is very true. That goes true for any app store. There's a lot of garbage over the app stores, Bitcoin miners, malware, spyware, adware, a bunch of just junk that's all over our app store. So that's a garbage argument, but moving on anyways. The risk is high. So what are Apple's chances? John Gruber thinks they're good. Quote, I do think that on legal grounds, Apple is in a very good position, but the risk is very high because if they lost, it would disrupt the whole business model of the App Store. Matt Stoller says that antitrust cases are notoriously hard to predict. Antitrust law, as it's practiced in the United States, is a complete mess. So we have no idea. The law basically depends on what the judge had for breakfast. The trial is expected to conclude last week in May. However, even if Apple wins, the fight over how Apple runs its App Store will rage on. So that's very true. In the United States, antitrust law is really up to the judge. When he says, I don't know if it's as simple as it depends on what the judge has for breakfast. These judges are very smart people. They're in their positions because of a reason. And I think they make good decisions most of the time. I trust our judicial system. But yeah, when it comes to antitrust law, it really is up to the judge. So hopefully we get a good unbiased opinion here from our judge, whoever it is in this case. But yeah, super interesting. I know that was a long article, everyone. Thank you for bearing with me. What do you guys think of this whole fiasco? Do you guys play Fortnite? Are you interested in this? Do you want to play Fortnite on Apple or Google Play? Do you care at all? Make sure to leave a comment below. Let me know how y'all think. Really appreciate you guys coming by and listening to me talk about some incredible news to start the morning. I hope you're all caught up on the day. And like I said earlier, I hope you guys are going to have an amazing day. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. Love y'all. Take it easy now.